Welcome, friends and listeners, to Podcast 119, our GDC podcast. Today is Wednesday, October 12th. We plan to release this for you on Monday, October 17th. I am Aimee Ashlanne Rekoske, your host for today. Today, I have two co-hosts. I have Shirra, our International Community Manager. Woohoo!
The one with the German accent. That's me.
And then I also have Tony RadarX Jones, the Senior Community Manager. I almost messed that up. For DC Universe Online. Hi, Tony.
Hey.
We have a great podcast for you today. We are recording from GDC. We are going to talk about what we're doing here. I know, amazing, huh? And then later in the show, we have a really special interview for you that just came about like an hour ago where we're going to talk about our forum moderation with Tony RadarX Jones and Rich Weil from Metaverse Mod Squad. But for now, we're going to take it away to the news with our special news guest host, Tony RadarX Jones. It's almost as cool as saying Ted Stone. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the SOE Podcast119 news. Halloween has returned to Clone Wars Adventures. Spooky decorations cover the walls of the Jedi Temple, and mysterious carved pumpkins glow eerily from dark shadows. You never know what you will run into when you turn the corner. The blinged-out clone trooper, purple fur, wampa suit, pink Tusken Raider, costumes, and more are available to purchase once again. Also, there are even a few holiday furniture packs that you can get to decorate your house or lot for this spooky time of year. You can get items like scarecrow bots, pumpkins, spiderwebs, and wall decorations. How you decorate it is up to you. Don't forget to visit the creepy crate in the lounge each day to collect the masks. Jump into the game, Clone Wars Adventures today, to have a spooky old time. In EverQuest news, the Pegasi have arrived in EverQuest. Now available in EverQuest are a variety of 5 different Pegasi mounts, from the Noble Pegasus to the terrifying Dreadmare. Check out EQ Players for images of all 5 different Pegasi, as well as previews of the upcoming Paladin and Shadow Knight specific Pegasi scheduled for future release. Don't forget to get in the Veil of Alaris beta. Time is running out for those who want to get into beta, so if you haven't yet, make sure to register for the EverQuest Veil of Alaris beta current underway. This is your last chance to help test Veil of Alaris and possibly even meet Endeavor 2. Knights of the Dev have arrived in EverQuest 2. Enjoy tricks and treats through November 8th. The Haunted House Decorating Contest is going on now through October 25th. Check the EverQuest 2 forums for more information. In Free Realms, the Free Realms Spooktacular has returned again. All of your favorite costume treats quests will be available once again and will be hanging around until the middle of November. We've also have items available for this year, including a bat, a wolf ride, a spooky furniture set, the Necrowart and zombie clothes, unicorn hat, and jack-o'-lantern, and even more. Be sure to buy the Hall Pass before 10/31/2011 at 11:59. The last chance to purchase the Hall Pass is on October 31st. Don't miss out on getting this special Free Realms membership with extra benefits. The Hall Pass grants account membership all the way through the end of the year for a one-time payment of $14.99. As an extra benefit, Hall Pass members will also receive a bonus monthly allowance of 250 station cash per account. That will help you buy lots of blocks, pets, rides, and all sorts of cool items for your characters. PlanetSide 2's latest comm link, PlanetSide 2 Backstory Part 1 and Introductory Matt Higbee, is on planetside2.com/news. PlanetSide 2's second webcast, The Art of PlanetSide 2, can also be found. In Pox Nora news, join the Pox Nora team on Thursday, October 20th in a live webcast and learn about Pox Nora's upcoming 18th expansion. Head over to the forums or Facebook today to submit questions you would like the live team to answer, or log into Stick'em Chat and ask them during the webcast. That's all for the news today. Back to you, Aimee.
All right, we're back, and I want to talk about panels. Panels. So what kind of panels have you guys been on?
We've seen a lot of panels from competitors that were really interesting, and a lot of panels regarding community management. So, yeah.
Anything really cool?
Yeah, actually, we saw a panel on an MMO that recently went free to play, and they talked a lot about what their community went through and how they made that transition, and it was actually really interesting to listen to all the thought that went into it.
Yeah, personally, my favorite panel was the one I went to right before we came here. It was about dealing with being prepared for crisis situations, and it's fun because we're already doing a lot of that stuff. It makes me happy, but it's But it was really interesting. You see a lot of head shaking in the audience, and yeah, it was cool. So, what kind of panels have you been to that were okay? I mean, anything where you were falling asleep?
Do we have to name them?
No naming names, but I mean, were there some?
There were some panels that were not really interesting to me because I felt like we knew most of the things and Sony's doing most of the things already, and I came more to learn new things.
That's cool. What about you, Tony?
I really, pretty much just what she said. I mean, the panels may be good for, some of the panels I went in expecting something and I got something else. So, I mean, it's not to say the panel wasn't good. It's just it didn't meet the expectations I had.
Like the one yesterday where it was a sales pitch?
No comment.
So, we've been to a lot of events already. Yesterday, we went to a great party. That was really fun with the Metaverse guys and Vindicus. Was that the other group throwing that party? Vindicia was. And Parature. And they had a band. Wasn't that pretty cool, Shirra?
Yeah, the band was pretty cool. They had a little kids thing going on. I don't know. They were like clapping and singing at the same time.
Yeah, that was unique.
Yeah, that was very unique, but they were actually good singers.
Yeah.
And let me interrupt here. It's Brasse. The beer here at GDC is freaking fantastic. Austin is known for its great selection of beers.
And food.
Yes, good food.
Well, you live here. You get the food all the time, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't normally make it to downtown Austin. They have all the good restaurants down here.
So we have a really cool event to go to tonight. Isn't that right, guys? Where are we going tonight?
We are going to the GDC Awards show.
And what's happening there?
We are going to get an award.
What are we getting an award for?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell us.
All right, so tonight at the GDC Awards ceremony, our beloved game EverQuest is being inducted into the Gamers Hall of Fame. And that's a singular honor, and we're going to have a number of people on hand to accept that award. And well earned. EQ has been around for more than 12 years now and has been an important part of our life and experience for all that time. Tremendous number of players still enjoying that game. Congratulations, one and all, for being involved in it.
That's right. And we're running a special Facebook promotion that ends on Monday, the day this goes live. But you'll still have time even after this is live to enter. All you have to do is email our SOE contest email address with all your information, your name, your email address, and the country you reside in, and you'll be entered into a random contest for a signed poster. So yeah, and it's signed by the dev team that's actually going to be here to accept their award, which is pretty cool. So what else about GDC that's cool? I mean, this is my second time here. This is your first time here. So as a newbie, Shirra, what were your expectations coming? And we'll talk about it being a newbie.
I really didn't know what's going to expect me. Honestly, I've been surprised how many confidential things companies, shared with us. And that was pretty interesting. My favorite panels were definitely the international panels. One was a German one that was about the game Settlers. It's a board game that went now free to play on an MMO, which was very, very interesting because I've never thought you can actually bring such a traditional board game as a video game out. And they had a lot of challenges because it was a completely new industry. So it was interesting to learn, although we have really nothing to do with it. It was an interesting experience.
What about you, the veteran, Tony? You've been to how many of these, and what's your experiences? How are they different? And the newbie and the veteran.
I've been to a couple of these, and I mean the panels are always good, but for me it's very beneficial, to see people that I've known for years and years. It's, hey, a guy I worked with 5 years ago. It's good to see you. How you been? What are you up to? And it seems like every one or two of these you go to, they're always in different spots. So, you're not only meeting someone again that you haven't talked to in a while, but, you're talking about new things they're working on. So you learn more about the industry as a whole. And that's always the best thing for me.
it's about getting new knowledge and then the networking of, meeting up with people that you used to know and then meeting new people, because I've met so many new people I didn't know before and just learning from them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, is there anything else? I don't have anything else to talk about regarding GDC other than the really cool events we've been on and our
Cool
going.
parties
Yes, the
afterwards.
cool parties. Yep. Went to that cool writers party, which we got some really cool ideas to do for fanfare next year, which I'm excited about. We can't wait to start planning our own events off of ideas that we've got here. So that's fun for us too.
All right, so welcome to a special segment of the podcast, which we're going to call the Unsung Heroes or Villains of the Forums. You be the judge. At SOE, some of you know that we have a number of different people who moderate our forums, including the community managers themselves. And we also have quite a passel of volunteer mods. How many do we have at the moment, Tony?
That's actually an excellent question. I would probably ballpark in the neighborhood of 20.
Right, and we'll get back to why you almost have to ballpark that figure. The third group of... there's a story behind that. No laughing. The third group of moderators that we have, and that is new for this year, is we do have paid contract moderators for the off hours. Those hours when we like for our community managers to, sleep on occasion, that sort of thing. And so we'll be talking about that too. First of all, I'd like to introduce the guests on the show. First of all, Tony Jones, known to many of you as RadarX. Some of you, seeing as we're talking about forums, will fondly remember him as the guy who banned you. And over to you, Tony. Tell us a little bit about your background in forum moderation.
Apparently, I'm very good at it. Yeah, I've been modding forums for probably 5+ years now, so it's really just about following the rules, and that's it.
Following the rules is a really hard concept, isn't it? We'll get back to that topic too. Now, I'd also like to introduce our second guest, Rich Weil from Metaverse Mod Squad. They are the people who provide our contract mods. So, Rich, how long have you been in the business of community management and moderation?
So I started doing volunteer moderation back for Ultima Online when they had official message boards, but I got into the industry in 2004. I came on board NCSoft, and I made sure to do my own moderation for a while to try and get the hang of it.
And then tell us a little bit about Metaverse, actually, and what they do for companies, because SOE is not the only client, are we?
Oh, no, but you're our favorite client. Metaverse provides outsourced community relations, customer support, and moderation staffing. Also QA. We've been doing a lot of QA recently. And essentially, we provide that for any company that has an online presence. If you go look at our website, metaversemodsquad.com, there's a client page, and you'll see, we work with the U.S. Army. We work with a lot of kids' online communities. We work with a lot of MMO groups. But that's our basic core business.
Okay. Now, with the community managers, of course, that's the primary point of contact for any forum. Each game has a primary community manager assigned to it. Tony, for instance, looks after DCUO, and we've got Jennifer Bridges currently on EQ2, Eric Cleaver on EQ, and so on. And then the volunteer mods as well, they come in, and most of them have a specific game that they prefer over the others. Is that right, Tony?
Yes, these are all people from the community. They're very active within that particular community, and they know their game very well.
So the only downside to volunteer mods is the word volunteer, of course, because we can't schedule them. They work out of the goodness of their hearts, and some of them put in very, very long hours, especially if we have downtimes or other crises that are going on. They are really a really good source of information, moral support, and assistance on the forums. And the reason we can't quite keep track of the number is because they're always coming or going. As with any other volunteer position, they devote a whole bunch of time, and then life gets busy and they have to go off and do something else. So now the contract mods. Rich, where do you hire your contract moderators from? Because they don't have to come into a central office, do they?
No, we're primarily a remote company, so our contractors work all over the world. We do have an operations center in Sacramento. We have a business development office in New York as well, and we have moderators who work out of our office in Sacramento, but primarily the majority of our company is remote. So as far as where we get them from, it really all kinds of different places. Referrals are big. We have a lot of people who work for the company, and they refer people who, if having a good experience, and so they tell their friends, and their friends want to apply. We have partnerships with some great great informal partnerships with some great people like Full Sail University, which is a game design school. They're remote as well, so we definitely understand their model. And so we've been hiring quite a few of their students as well, because it fits their schedule, fits our schedule. They know games, and that's very important. It's really important to match the skill set and knowledge of a moderator to the product.
Do you find a lot of your moderators come from the gaming industry? Like, are they players themselves?
Oh, certainly for the game industry side of things. We have certain segments at Metaverse of, expertise, whether it's, kids games or hardware companies or, just general software companies or MMOs. And so, we do get a lot of resumes and applications from people who are in the game business, who are players, but involved in games because of their love for them, and they want to be more involved. And it's a great way to get paid for being involved with games.
And is it true that they can work at home in their pajamas and fuzzy slippers?
Yes, absolutely. And if they don't have fuzzy slippers, we have a company-sponsored program. We send them fuzzy slippers.
Thank you so much. Now, one of the concerns we had, of course, and this even before we decided to get contract moderation to cover the off hours to make sure that the forums always had some sort of support, we had concerns about consistency across the forum moderation. Are we handling all of the forums the same way? What are the rules? What are the processes? And it's something I tasked Tony with earlier in the year, is coming up with a process. Can you tell us a little bit about what went into the background of that?
Well, sure. We basically, as you stated, we noticed a few inconsistencies. I mean, sometimes things were a little lighter than they should have been. Sometimes maybe a little bit too hard. Our goal was to make things consistent so everyone was treated fairly and evenly across all our forums. We're a large company and we have a lot of products, so it makes sense that everything is consistent across the board. What we did is we sat down, we looked at some of the best practices. SOE has, over 12 years of experience with, forum moderation. So, we're one of the best companies to know what to do with this. So we looked at some of the best practices of not only our forums, but, other games as well. And we created basically a standard operating procedure. We created a living, breathing document that we regularly update with, things we learn, things that need to change. That way, not only our contract moderators know exactly what to do, and they, in the off chance they need to moderate, or our community managers as well. There's no question about what someone breaks this rule. There's no question about what they need to do. If someone's trolling, this happens. If someone, says something they shouldn't, this happens. So it's been a great help for us.
Now, tell us a little bit about what happens when, say, one of your contract moderators has a question. They don't know how to address a specific issue. One of the things that came up fairly recently was what happens when we get a suicide threat on the forums or on Facebook. So when your mods have a question like that, Rich, how do they reach out to SOE to get some direction?
Well, we have escalation procedures on our side, but also we've worked with SOE to build cooperative escalation paths as well. So, for example, something like that, the first thing the mod would do is contact the project manager. The project manager on this project, a guy named Brian Furman, great guy, knows MMOs really well, and is really close in touch with SOE people. So, the SOE community managers, especially Tony, too bad for Tony. But it would follow an escalation path. It basically would go up the Metaverse side and then over to the SOE side. However, we also aren't afraid to have, if necessary, moderators reach out directly to SOE people who might be in our common shared chat room. So we have a shared chat room with SOE community managers, and so we use that to communicate with the SOE staff. And that's just a great tool to use for that kind of thing.
And Tony, do you find it easy to keep in contact with the contract moderators, even though they're not working out of an office where they can be reached?
Oh, absolutely. Like Rich stated, I mean, that chat room has been a great tool for us as well as them. It's not only a great opportunity for us to talk with them, but, when we have a crisis, which every now and then we do, we can go in that chat room and we can not only coordinate with each other, we can coordinate with MMS how we're going to respond to a situation that's currently escalating. It allows us, because, at SOE, we all work in different studios as well. So it allows us to all get on the same page, all be in the same room from the convenience of our own desks. Working with MMS has been very easy. It's very easy to get a hold of them. Frequently I'll get an IM. Hey, what do you think about this post? I pull it up, say, okay, go ahead and remove that. It's done. It's a 20-second process and that's 20 seconds I can spend, that would have taken me much longer to do myself, sit there and look through it on the forums, and they've identified it for me. So I can go back to doing, other things like not banning people, but, writing features and responding to other issues.
And of course, the moderators are often our first source of information when the players bring up a concern like a server has gone down. I know that we've seen some messaging come in first from the moderators or on the forums. We love when that happens at 2:10 in the morning. And I mean that sincerely because we would miss it otherwise. I mean, you have to sleep sometime. So it's been very nice. Let me address something like the most common complaint that we get when people do complain about moderation runs like this. How come I just got a warning or suspension or was banned when Joe Troll over there gets away with everything and I keep reporting him and nothing ever happens to him? How come it's just me? You're picking on me, aren't you? Here you go, Tony.
Well, basically, the standard response for that, not that we give canned text. I mean, we respond to each concern like that, in a very personal way. We don't discuss moderation actions taken against other accounts. I mean, when you say that they didn't get banned or moderated or warned, how do you really know? I mean, unless you are that person, then you have two accounts, and then that's a whole different conversation. But we take things very seriously when we do our moderation, and we are not biased in what we do. We take these things as case by case, and we look at them very carefully, and we, like I said, we use that standard operating procedure, which has very little room for it's very black and white.
That was a fun one because that's the one I most commonly see cross my desk, actually. And yes, you answered it absolutely correctly. You get to keep your job. Now, for those people who do have a bit of spare time in the community and would like to be part of the process and help with forum moderation as a volunteer, how do they go about contacting us and what can they expect? Is there a training program? What sort of supervision do they get? What are their responsibilities? Could you address that briefly, Tony?
Sure. Basically what you'd want to do if you were interested in being a volunteer moderator, first, you need to be an active member of the community. I mean, we are always looking for people who are a part of the community, know the community, are visible, not necessarily visible in the community, but when we go in and look at your posts, we want to see someone who's a contributor, someone who has been a part of the community, and someone that looks like can communicate effectively, because those are the key aspects of a volunteer moderator. What you can do is you can contact forum-admin@soe.sony.com. And yes, there is a training program we put you through. We also, we have some oversight. We have a forum administrator who works with you and teaches you the processes that we use at Sony. Kind of also familiarizes you with our standard operating procedures.
And incidentally, if RadarX has banned you recently, you would also write to forum-admin@soe.sony.com. Yeah, if you haven't already done so. Now, Rich, on your front, of course, there may be some people who are stay-at-home parents or they are college students and could use a little bit of extra income. If they are interested in working on a contract basis for Metaverse, how do they go about contacting you? And what are you looking for in the ideal candidate?
Well, so first of all, we have a pretty simple application process. It's just apply at metaversemodsquad.com. I encourage everybody to review the website, look at the website, look at our blog. We've got a very active blog that talks about kind of who we are, what our philosophies are. Some of the things that are very important to us is communication skills. Naturally, we, being able to write coherently, communicate effectively, express yourself properly, conduct yourself properly. We work for clients. So, somebody who's going to be a loose cannon or who has a hot temper or things like that those aren't the kind of people we're interested in.
They're the people that Tony just banned, right?
Right. Well, but we do, we are growing very quickly. We have a lot of things going on. And so we're always happy to see, new applicants. But definitely, the ability to communicate and to really be responsible for yourself is very important in a remote company like ours. We have lots of tools we use to keep our company hooked together. And, it's important to use them and to have that kind of self-discipline.
That's great. Now, I know we've joked a lot about, I have joked a lot about the fact that we ban people, but to be honest, that is truly a tool of last resort. We have tens of thousands of people who use the forums every single day, and the percentage of people who end up getting banned is really minuscule. It's a fraction of 1%, like 1/10 of 1% or something, and you have to push pretty hard to get banned. And even the permabans, we've had a few that have come back after 6 months or a year. They'll write back to the forum admin address and say, look, give me another chance, and we almost always do. So, yeah, forum moderation is really quite a challenging process, and for anybody who does think that I could do that a whole lot better, please feel free to join our volunteer forum moderation program or to join a company such as Metaverse Mod Squad, and then you can really prove exactly how good you are at it. Well, thanks today for both of you joining us, Rich Weil from Metaverse Mod Squad and Tony RadarX Jones, our Senior Community Manager and DCUO Community Manager. Most appreciated.
The best part of the podcast, what are you guys playing right now? Are you playing video games? Because you have to answer. I've been playing EQ2, and then I've been playing this zombie game on Google Plus. That's pretty fun. And that's about it for me.
Angry Birds. That's really most of it.
When I'm not playing DCUO, I've been playing Dead Island.
Dead Island? I haven't heard of that.
You haven't heard of Dead Island? No. It's a zombie game.
Oh. Well, I like zombie games. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for the GDC-Cast. We really appreciate you joining us for our very special podcast. We hoped you liked hearing about our trip and learning about forum moderation from Rich and Tony, the Bananator. The Bananator, yeah. And Rich is a great guy, even though yesterday he didn't like me, and today he does apparently. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for joining us. Linda's sighing at us.
If you use the word cool one more time, I'm going to smack you.
So I've